You're listening to Lyfe and Shyt. I'm Daneyel Walker.
And I'm Tommy Walker.
Join us as we talk about our journey overcoming fears, boundaries, marriage, family, lifestyle, business, and whatever other shit you can think of.
We're individuals that came together to create one unit with one mind and one goal. What's up, baby?
What's up, Mr. Walker?
Another beautiful day in paradise.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna fight like I ain't mad at you.
So don't fret.
I'm pushed through it on this episode.
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
Yeah, we gonna smile.
Sometimes we be mad.
Yep.
And then we get over it. Water under a bridge.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Life and Shit's all about.
Fucker.
That's why we call it Life and Shit.
I love you though.
I love you too. I love you too. You my homie.
Mm-hmm.
What you got?
Love a friend.
Homie, love a friend.
I got a question for you.
Hold on. Let's go back to that homie, love a friend before you ask that question.
Nah, we'll talk about that off camera.
Okay.
We have a guest today. We'll behave. So chaos fuels creativity, right? So describe a chaotic yet brilliant moment you have had in your creative journey.
Chaotic but brilliant moment in my career. Honestly, I don't never feel like I'm creative. Like I don't feel like I'm one of those dudes that always said that I don't have talent, but my talent is bringing people together and cultivating relationships. You know, so I never considered that creative. But has it been chaotic bringing people together? Hell yeah. Has it been brilliant? Some of the minds that has been in the same room and talked and communicated and broke bread? Yeah. So if that is considered a creative moment, then I would have to say it's been a few times where I've brought people together from all different industries, all different walks of life, and sat and we had conversations about community.
Yeah.
You know, that was one of my most chaotic, trying to get all these people from entrepreneurs to, you know, people that work 9 to 5 to freestyle artists.
Yeah. Well, we have a guest today. We're going to bring them in, talk about the same thing.
Yeah, so we got Blake Dye. On Instagram, he's called Blizzy Blake.
Blizzy Blake.
I love saying it. At Blizzy Blake.
Not the Instagram name. Oh, man.
One of the coolest dudes I know, right? We met over a year ago because he throws one of the hottest events here in San Diego locally. It's called Soul Sunday. And we're going to dig into how he got started and then where Soul Sunday is today and what the vision of Soul Sunday is going to be as well. But Blake, to Danielle's question, from a chaotic standpoint, right, what was the most brilliant thing that came together in your creative journey?
Man, I'm going to go way back in high school. I used to be in ASB, Associated Student Body. You know, we put on the pep rallies, the after school entertainment, homecoming dances, all that stuff. It was my senior year, and I was at home watching Miss Universe, and I was like, man, why don't we have nothing for guys? They have the pageants, the Victoria's Secret, all that stuff, right? But there's nothing for us. So I was like, for my last little senior project for ASB, I was like, I'm going to put together a male pageant.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, and the school I went to was very new at the time, so we didn't have much tradition. So the big thing, the 4 years, is like, let's create traditions. So I put on this thing called Mr. Steele. Our school was called Still Canyon High School. So it was a male pageant. Very similar to a lady pageant, different categories, different dress styles, stuff like that, questions. But while building up to it, even my ASB teacher was like, I don't know, man. I don't know about this, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, nah, I already got the tuxedos because I had got free tuxedos from the local tux shop. The guys had committed. We already did our walkthroughs, everything. And he literally was, even that night, was like, hey, we don't have to go through this. I was like, nope. Parents already committed. We got people showing up. We're going to run it. So it was very chaotic in the sense that nobody really saw the vision. Even my own teacher, shout out to Drew Stewart, great man. He was even like, I don't know, man. And that I graduated in 2008, and now it's still going on to this day.
Get the fuck out of it.
Yeah,
That is amazing.
I go back every year and judge it.
That is dope.
So
Yes, I love that. First, I'm like, shout out to you for remembering that your teacher. Of course, if you go back every year and you judge it, then you see him every
Is he
year.
still there?
That's pretty
no,
fucking
actually,
dope.
he's based in LA now.
Okay.
But
Okay.
it's evolved into this whole thing, and with the shift of the LGBT community and everything, it even it's open to everybody. So it's really a cool. It's taken its own character.
I
now.
love
So
it.
it's really
I love
cool.
it. And then ASB, were you like a president, treasurer, or
No,
did you
I
hold
ran.
office?
I actually lost.
Uh,
I messed up and ran for vice president, but I should have ran for president. Lost it, but it was actually pretty funny. I don't know, remember when Diddy used to do the vote or die shirts?
Yeah, yep.
My campaign was vote or die, but DYE.
oh, that's cute.
So it was funny. I used to like design these little shirts, and I'm convinced I solely was almost going to win for the fact of my shirts.
That's hilarious. And one of the reasons that I asked is because I ran for treasurer of ASB, and that's one of my chaotic but yet
love
like
this story.
brilliant moments
Yeah.
back then. And like we moved around a lot as kids, so I was always the new kid. So I don't know. I never was really like. I don't know. I don't think I thought about being shy or anything, and I decided to run for treasurer.
Okay.
For everybody that's listening, if you know what I always get on Daneyel about, this is where it started.
He calls me a corny rapper.
Yes.
Hey, I ran special events, so that was my thing. I did the committee of special events.
Okay.
So
So, when you're running, you had to do a speech, you know what I mean? So everybody does their speech, and I never forget the girl, her name was Pebbles, who I was running against, very, very popular. Like, she'd been to the school all 3 years, and I just got there.
her name is Pebbles. Hell yeah.
That was
she's
her real
popular.
name, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, I mean, she didn't even have to say anything when she got on stage. Like, she just did like this little thing, and everyone's like, ah! And then I got on stage, and like, no one knew me. But I had this rap, right? And I was like, I'm going to rap about like, vote for me and this, and
That's crazy.
So at first I got up there and it was silent. It was crickets. So then I got to going. And at the end, everyone was like, oh, they knew me, but they ain't vote for me though.
hey, sometimes you just need to leave that impression.
Yeah, exactly. That was like my creativity, like my brilliant moment, but it was, at the same time, it was crazy.
That's Daneyel in high school, who really don't listen to rap music, but it's
That's
just
the
bust a
trip part.
freestyle.
That's hilarious.
I like to read. I like to write, so that made sense, right?
Hey, it makes sense. That's the base of it.
But the rhyming wasn't all that.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, that's a great chaotic moment.
Yeah.
That you built. That's dope. That is, and for them to keep doing that today, that is impressive.
Yeah, that really is. I love that. I have a question about family. Mm-hmm. In your opinion, what was the most important quality that contributes to a strong and loving family, in your opinion?
I think the biggest thing is support. Sometimes it doesn't look all the same, but my mother and father, they never told me not to do something. They always supported in the endeavors that I was passionate about. So, and they would allow me to figure it out myself, but be ready if I fell to help me pick myself back up, or give me the tools to get back up. I think the next thing is just honesty. Like, I have some friends that live in fantasy worlds, you know, because their parents are trying to be their best friend, or, not my baby. That mindset, when we're all human, you know. So I grew up just, my parents just shot straight. Like I whenever I work with them, I'm like, miss me with the sugar and spice and everything, nice bullshit. Like, don't give me the sandwich effect. Just tell me how it is. I get more mad when you try to ease me into stuff, because it's like, it's not built like that. So I think those two biggest things is support, communication, honesty. And then love. I mean, I think the one thing I'm very appreciative with them, they're not my friends, they're my parents. You know, we're not homies. That's my father. You know, that's not my friend. You know, so there's that dynamic and that level of respect.
I love that, and it's all sprinkled with a little bit of love on top because you know you love the fact that they're able to be honest with you, and that honesty that builds so much character. It makes you an honest person, then you're able to take so much. You know, when honesty is given to you, because a lot of times nowadays, that's why we have to sandwich it, because a lot of people can't handle that honest truth, right? Yeah. It's painful. It hurts.
1,000%.
And don't be wrong, sometimes it hurts.
Yeah.
You know, but I'll take it on the chin, go home, cry on my pillow, and then you know, there's truth to it. Somebody's willing to say that they feel some type of way. You gotta listen to it to a certain degree.
You're not like getting punched in the face.
Yeah.
I always say that all the time. It's nothing like getting punched in the face. If you ain't never been punched in your face, go outside and get fucking punched in the face.
Man, it will
change your life.
So in your opinion, what skills or qualities are like essential to like for success in your career and what you do?
Patience. You gotta really trust yourself. Because when I started doing all this stuff, people still to this day, what do you do, or what are you doing? Or I remember I had a coach. He was actually at the time one of my favorite coaches, and this was like in my early career of like in my 20s of just pursuing, you know, 20s, try this, try that, do this, that, do that, do this, do that. And he's like, you're just always doing something. You just do too much. I'm like, what does that mean? Like, if you look at every wealthy businessman, anybody that's a creative, they have multiple things moving, and they're feeding all of their passions, which is funny now because his wife reached out to me about booking his daughter for Soul Sunday.
That's dope.
So I guess I was doing enough. Huh?
Yeah, exactly.
But patience, you got to really believe in yourself. There's many lonely moments. That you have to kind of push through, and you got to trust your process. You got to lean into that creativity. You gotta sometimes. I'm actually fighting with getting back to my creativity because now I'm in this like numbers phase. You know,
the business side of it.
Exactly. So, shout out to Alex. He's like my balance. Because he oh, it's this. I'm like, nah, fuck that. The math is not mathing.
Yeah.
Like, come here, come back down, like chill. And it always works out. So, and also too, you got to build a village around you. It takes a village, like to raise a kid. It takes a village to grow a business and to really learn yourself. So really building that unit around you.
True community.
Yeah. Because there's days, there's times, there's quiet moments where that, hey, I'm just checking on you, or vibe check, or how you doing, or I don't need anything. I love you. Just want to tell you you're doing great. Those little moments give you those extra kicks when you're sitting at home and things ain't moving, money's slow, and you're questioning your whole existence on why you're doing this.
I always say some days you wake up on top of the world, and some days, I mean, you wake up with the world feels like the world's on top of you, right?
Oh, man.
So it's just like that big difference, you know, and then just having that person that's there to check in on you no matter what, you know what I mean? Like, I got you. It does make a difference. Let's talk about recreation. What do you do for fun?
Oh,
and how do you find time to have fun?
To be honest, I'm trying to figure it out. Just about 2 years ago, I got out of a 10-year relationship, and a lot of my life was centered around that, and then my creative work. And right now, what I like to do for fun, nothing. Sometimes just sit in peace. I've committed to myself to try to travel once a month, just go somewhere. With my job now, I'm able to work remotely, so trying to just go somewhere once a month just to see the world, because I spent a lot of time in those 10 years just like in that circle, and really spend time with my dog, my boy Bubba. He's 11 months. He's 5'5" on his back feet.
Ooh-wee.
He's 105 pounds.
What kind of dog?
He's a Rottweiler Cane Corso mix.
Yeah.
Ooh-wee.
I love Rottweilers too. He's a small person.
Oh, he's a little human. But he's actually been a blessing because, you know, coming out of that long relationship and then having all this time and all this, now it's on me. Yeah. You know, I saw myself kind of spiraling, late nights, not coming home, just moving, but not moving with purpose. And he's kind of brought me back down. Like, okay, you got all your creative stuff, which is great, but you need some consistency.
Accountability.
I love it. I love it. And I was going to ask if you were single and ready to mingle. So are you still single?
I'm single and not trying to mingle. I'm really not. Just taking this time to find myself.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, man.
I got into a relationship right after and learned a lot.
Yeah.
Which is sit your ass down and find you.
Yeah.
So yeah, not trying to really mingle right now. Just living a single dog dad life.
I know, that's right. Everybody needs that time, like that Buddha or Jesus moment, right, where they kind of like have that time to themselves, kind of refresh, do some healing on your own.
40 days.
Do it to yourself.
Yeah.
Yep. Whether it's 40 days or 4 nights, sometimes you just need to get your own self away. Let's talk about dreams. So there's short-term dreams and then there's long-term. What would you say is a short-term dream that you recently had that you actually accomplished?
Seeing the people that are on my team start to cultivate their own things outside of Soul Sunday and seeing the impact that it's having on the community. And then now I get like my fill of Soul Sunday through their events. Because to be honest, I don't really get to fully enjoy Soul Sunday because I'm running around, making sure everybody's good, doing the whole presidential campaign thing, all that stuff. And then post, everybody's got opinions, you know, so trying to filter all that, but still be, you know, I'm in the people business, so I got to tread lightly, you know. So that was seeing like some of like Articulated Combat. Shout out to Evan and Brittany. Sessions at the Shop. That's Sean and Evan and Brittany. Just seeing those things cultivate and come out of that stuff, and then the stuff that we're collectively going to be working on. And then also I wanted to do something outside of Soul Sunday, and like non-R&B, neo-soul related, because growing up, I listened to everything. A lot of people don't know my nails are painted now, but I used to listen to metal in middle school. Like,
I was going to ask you about that, the nails painting.
It's just an expression.
There's
really no meaning behind it. I did it when I was younger, but I had to take it off when I go home and stuff like that. But that's another thing post relationship. Even though she was very supportive of me doing it, I still just had to say, I don't know about it. And I'm like, no, this is me. I'm an artist. I'm a creative. This is part of my makeup. This is who I am. You know, I know often traditional, it's not masculine to have nail polish. It's not. You know, growing up in the traditional black space, we're taught to be hyper masculine, but not really tap into that vulnerable side. And we carry both energies, and we have to create a balance between. But we're often taught to be just super, super, super masculine. Get your head up. Don't let people see you cry.
1,000%, and especially with you growing up in church.
Oh yeah,
because to your to what you do today, a lot of it started in the church. Right, you know, you were a part of the events. You were part of the music squad. You've been in this thing. Like, I love how people think that everything is always overnight. It's like or like, you got lucky.
10-year overnight successes, right?
Exactly. So it's to get into what you actually do, because people are like, what's Soul Sunday? What is that about? He's a creator. What does that all that mean? Like, let's get into that. Like, what is Soul Sunday?
Yes.
The origin of it, because it's pretty dope where you started. And then just from there, because it took off so quickly, even when you started it, beyond that, it was because you've been in the trench. Yeah. Just, like you said, you listen to music, all types of music. You've been in the creative space for so long.
Yes. What is Soul Sunday?
Well, I wish I could say it took off quickly. We're actually nearing on our 9-year anniversary on November.
You said 9 year?
Yep.
Heck yeah, that's
Yeah,
what's
so
up.
we shout out to Public Square and Aaron Henderson.
Congrats,
well, actually,
man.
we'll kind of, let me circle back. So when I was 20, 21, I moved to Orange County, and my best friend Anthony was like, hey, I don't want to live in San Diego. I was like, I'm trying to get out of San Diego. So we moved to OC, and we started a group called Coast 53, and it was a party group. So we're putting on club events Thursday through Saturday. We were busing people up from San Diego, busing people from the IE, and we create this whole like entity, like from 21 to like 23, 24, 23 and a half. Like, it was a great time. Mm-hmm. Like, I got to live the club life. I ran VIP service. My first artist I ever worked with was Nipsey Hussle, rest in peace. Okay. DJ Mustard, a ton of people, and we were just taking over the OC scene. And then we had this sticker with us that we would wear suits. So we just come completely dapper down, like Farnsworth Bentley, Dapper Dan type stuff. And that was part of our uniform.
Classic man.
Yeah, exactly. And started doing that, killed it for a couple years. Of course, everybody gets big egos. We end up breaking up. Everybody splits up. I go back home. I'm like hating life because I felt like I failed. Everybody's seeing on Instagram. This was like right at the boom of Instagram. So everybody's just seeing, Blake do all his party and club stuff. And we were at one point even shooting a reality show, which was crazy. We were like shooting a pilot to pitch this network or whatever. So we fall on my ass, go back home, end up on my parents' couch. And I just, for about a year, I didn't even unpack my stuff. I slept on the couch purposely, just made myself completely uncomfortable in my parents' house because I didn't want to get comfortable. And through that, I met my friend Britt that had connected me with Aaron about, he said, hey, come, you should check this open mic out. So I checked it out. I was like, okay, this is very similar to an event I used to do called Wind Down Wednesday in OC. We featured artists, dinner specials. It was a vibe. The talent was horrible. But the vibe and energy was everything. I actually just found the old videos on my Instagram, which is so funny to see. And so I started running an open mic, and then I was like, I want to do an event. He's like, you do whatever. Aaron's like, I'm going to give you full autonomy just to create in the space. And I start building out Soul Sunday. And first run was having 12 acts in one night. And they're like, no, you're crazy.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah, shorten it down. So I got it down to 3 acts. Hired this they just graduated from high school, band from Mission Bay High School. And we started doing live events. Had Alex come down and host. And I was running the door. I was running sound. I was setting up. I was just doing all of it by myself. And it started to slowly build. And then I met Kendrick Dow. He, at the time, Lyrical Groove was killing it. They're like, yo, you got to get Lyrical Groove. So I said, hey, can I get you and your whole band? Yeah, we locked him in. That night was probably the best, one of still my core memories of Soul Sunday. It was an amazing night. And then it just clicked. I was like, can I hire your band to be my house band? So, yeah. And that's when I got tight with Shyt. And 9 years later, it just built. We, for all the way up until pandemic, we were just, got to the point right before pandemic, we were busting out the seams. We were packing 110 people in this little coffee shop. It was a hot box, but it was on a round because the stage is right in the middle. So it's everybody's loving that, Blake, you got to go somewhere else, I was like, I don't know where to go. Yeah. I don't know where to go. We'll figure it out. It's kind of just picked up kind of quickly. Pandemic hit, which was a blessing for me because I was able to kind of slow everything down. And then through that year, I just took the year off. I met Nico and Justin at Courtyard, showed them my idea. I had just started the Instagram. I didn't even have an Instagram. I was running through my own Instagram the whole time and just word of mouth. Started the Instagram. Hey, we're back. We're at the Courtyard. We sold out in 24 hours. And that's when I was like, oh shit. I think
We got something.
we got something.
Love it.
And then it just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And because at first, the first one, you know, we had to separate everybody and we had to put everybody up on stage. It didn't feel like the original Soul Sunday. So the minute we got like clearance, you know, with the whole COVID stuff, we got back to kind of our old setup. And yeah, it's been downhill since then.
So from 110 people in the coffee shop to over 600 people at the courtyard.
We actually did in and out just shy of 1,000 this
Damn.
last show. Yeah. So our new average is about 650 now.
Impressive.
Hell yeah. That's amazing. That is amazing. And so now in many the like creative fields, they've become more inclusive and diverse, right? How do you see diversity influencing like the creative landscape now? And what can be done to like promote more exclusivity?
In San Diego in particular, it's not moving as fast as it should.
1,000%.
When you go to other cities like New York, Chicago,
Even LA?
LA, there's just a plethora. Like it's very easy to find venues and put on events. But in San Diego, you got to send your patsy in to try to get into the space. Shout out to Courtyard. It's one of the few venues that just welcomes everybody with open arms.
Now, and I want you to clarify that because we was on a call together, and you said that. And you was like, "Yo, I got this guy that I have to send in to represent me because people in San Diego don't take it serious." Yeah, and unfortunately, you know, you're like, "Yeah, this is my guy," and he actually gets shit done. And that's the crazy thing is, like he goes in and gets shit done for you to rent a venue or do whatever. And we was on a call where people was just like, "Oh shit, like we're not those people." But we get it because you was pitching ideas that were like outside of the box of what San Diego's used to. But but to your point, it's 2023, and you still have to send a guy in to represent you, no matter in as successful as your event is. You still need. And when I say a guy, we're talking about someone that does not look like you, that's not from the culture, that has to represent the culture.
And it's even like, it's even to the point of. It's just with San Diego, we're a wedding city, and we're a buyout venue city. So if you don't have the big bucks, but if you think about it, there's not many big black artists that come down here. We just got 50 Cent for the first time, and we got Jodeci.
We do R&B tours.
We do R&B tours, but there's.
We do retired artists. We don't do the new hot artists.
We don't do
like Cardi B won't come here.
Yeah, the last time I seen Drake and Lil Wayne was when Drake was like half the size he was now. Yeah. So it's like
we might have been at the same concert.
The Drake and Lil Wayne, Drake versus Wayne concert, right?
So good. It was good.
But we don't. San Diego doesn't. That's the one thing I've learned when I've been traveling. When I say people from San Diego, they're like, "Where are the black people?" Or "What are the black things to do?" And then I sound vain when I'm saying I have one of the biggest black events outside of R&B Block Party that does something. But that's 2 things out of 7 days, and we both do it monthly. So you only get 2 things once a month on different weekends, and that's it.
1,000%. And everything else is annual.
Yeah. Versus like when you go to LA, you have Black Market Flea. You got there's so much stuff. And now there's a whole venue called the Beehive that is owned by Black. It's a beautiful multi-use space that is so readily for us to use. We don't have that here, you know, and it's hard. So to say, like, to your point, we don't really have much diversity in San Diego. We don't. Because even when I've been looking at other venues, I provide them pitch decks, analytics, visual representation, and it's like, nah.
That's a great point, and I'm glad you asked that question because in your as a creative, if you had a billboard and you know, you wanted to put it up, and it don't even have to be San Diego, wherever it is, what would you put on that billboard? Like, what would that message look like? Especially you as a creative in the different spaces, because you're not just in music. Like you're in multiple creative spaces.
Yeah, because I do consulting. I work with nonprofit and civic engagement, and then we have a whole production company that we roll stuff out with. I mean, as corny as I'm your one-stop shop, everything you need is here.
I like it.
You know, come and get something with some flavor. Because I look at these other agencies and it's very cut and dry, but the budgets are going to them. You know, the only, I think, black-led agency is Basic in San Diego, and but still, there's not really. It's not market to us. Like, even for tourism, Black people don't want to come here, but they should.
1,000%.
It's beautiful.
It's a beautiful city. There's a lot. The traffic's not bad. You're 2 hours away from LA. If you want to get some of the history of like the West Coast, there's, you know, you have the beautiful coastline. We have the best beaches. We have the #1 baseball park in the city. We have the #1 zoo.
We're like 40 minutes or like from Mexico. It's right there.
It's
We
right
got the
there.
desert that's right there. Like
Exactly.
desert's gorgeous. You
And
know what
if
I
you
mean?
want
We
snow,
got Big Bear.
Yeah,
I mean, we're
You literally got everything. But it's not market to us. And that's a long-term dream is to shift that.
that leads me to like my next question, because it's so everything's always evolving and changing, and like the trends and the different things. Like what strategies do you utilize to stay ahead of these like evolving trends and the different technologies that people use? Like now there's Threads, right? Like, are you on Threads? Like, I mean, there's all these like things just keep on popping up. Like, do you just pop on them or do you wait for them? Like, how does that work for you?
I wait for them. I'm like, I need to get on TikTok, unfortunately. They're all a blessing and a curse. And I think you have to, one thing I was watching, Andre 3000 had said, you got to do it for you. I think in this society now, we try to do a lot of things for others. I've even fell to that, trying to people please to a point. And when you start doing it for self and being consistent and sticking to your core values, the people that you want around you will follow. So I think the biggest thing is just holding true to your truth and understanding, you know, Soul Sunday for me was there's nowhere to listen to live music that I want to listen to. I know how to do it because I've done it in OC with the whole team. So I'm just going to do it. And it just so happened now 600 to 700 people like it. But even when I curate the shows, I'm tapping in. That's why I do it monthly. It's like, where am I at? Where's my heart? Where's my mind? What do I want to, you know, let out? And then it ends up being this release for the whole team. The band leaves it out there. That's what sometimes when we get in our little tiffs, I'm like, oh yeah, Soul Sunday's gonna be good.
Yeah, that's right. I can definitely see. I can see like the behind the scenes, because people don't understand what it takes to get to that execution point, right?
Chaos,
like I mean, because we was tripping out the last show, and Daneyel was like, they're reading music, and I'm like, yeah, babe, they musicians, they do that, and the practice and being with the singers, and I'm sure there was like you fucked up, or you didn't do this, or you didn't tell me this, or some miscommunication. And then you get out there and you still show up, right? You, at the end of the day, you still sit in the seat and you still show up because it ain't about what happened. It's about, you know, we come out here for the people, right? And we want to do this for the people. And y'all do a very good job. In the creative space, you know, when you navigate, there's a lot of self-doubt. You talked about it earlier. Like, you know, am I really doing this? Is it really happening? And doing it the way you're doing it today, I'm sure there's still self-doubt. You still kind of feel like you're on an island. You know, is it still, because you said now you're in a numbers game, right? Because because you see the numbers and you see the people, and if it doesn't match up, you're like, there's a problem. So as a creator, and this is one thing that I know a lot of creators are dealing with, so I would love to hear how you deal with is, how do you navigate that self-doubt? Like, how do you balance that out? You mentioned you got the dog, but what else are you doing to navigate that self-doubt?
To overcome it, you know, and still execute at a high level.
So I have like a core group that I tap into. I won't name the names because they're very sacred to me. But you build these levels, right? You got these circles within the circles within the circles. And when I have those self-doubts, I call that person like, yo, I need to let you know if I'm crazy or not. Like, this is what I'm thinking. This is my mind. Like, this is what's going on. And here, like, give it to me straight. And I'll go to that series of people and have those conversations. And then I sit and have conversations. It sounds crazy, but I sit and have conversations with myself. Or I'm literally having conversations with Bubba. He's sitting there looking, but just working those things out, taking time. Sometimes I realize that as a creative, if you do so much creative stuff, you get fatigued. Anything, working out too much, running too much, you got to take a break. So I started implementing some things. I call them like my mind numbing things, right? So like I bought an Xbox. So some days I'll just get on Call of Duty. If I'm mad, let me get on Call of Duty real quick and just, or play my little Jedi game or something. Or yoga, hot yoga has been an amazing thing for me. And it's also just funny when I go into these studios because I'm like the only black man. The teacher's like, "Oh, how long you been doing this?"
Yo, me and you might be the only
tall.
two. Yeah,
it's dead
plus you're
serious.
tall.
Yeah. Like, oh my gosh, I've been doing it for 4 years, 5 years. I'm like, oh my goodness, like it's the funniest response. But
Love it.
those also too is like I'm creating variety because I have another event called Mixed Company, and that's focused on world music. And we're also still figuring that out. But it's creating like those balances and differences so I can take breaks from things. So when I'm knee deep in Mixed Company stuff, I start to miss Soul Sunday. So then I get back and knock that stuff out. Then I miss Mixed Company. Or then I'm like overly stimulated. So then I just go, like last week, I just didn't do nothing. I just did what me and Bubba wanted to do. Went to the beach, worked out a little bit, slept. I'm a big proponent in sleep too. Like, you gotta get your sleep in. I've been going to bed increasingly early every day because I've been getting up at like 4 or 5 just to get my day started, get things rolling. So creating those like routines and stuff. So it's a mix of things, but I think the biggest thing I can say to anybody is you gotta find your flow. You gotta take what your best practice, see what other people's best practices, and see if those apply to you. But you really gotta create your own flow.
1,000%.
I definitely see that. What kind of advice do you think you would give to someone who would like to get into the creative space but has questions about like finances and like how to plan and just working that part of it out?
First thing I would say, this shit ain't sexy.
That's real shit. Yeah, and to that point, like, and if you're comfortable with dropping numbers, like, because the numbers are intimidating. You know what I mean? But you started somewhere, and you didn't care about those numbers that you're doing today. Like, you got to those numbers.
Yeah. I mean, I still don't care about the numbers to a certain extent, as long as my people are paid. I'm okay. We're doing well. Per my lawyers, they told me not to talk too much about it, so I won't piss them off. But we're doing well. But I think the biggest thing is just you can't get too big of a head, because as well as this is going, this can all be gone tomorrow. And I could be replaced any day. Anybody can. It's like football, right? I could be the star athlete, and then I go down, it's next man up. And that next person might be the star athlete. And then you got to fight your way back up. So I think the biggest advice I'll give is it's not sexy. I think the biggest thing I've been talking with some of my mentors, like, we got to shift this sexy mindset that like being a business owner and an entrepreneur and a creative is like the thing to do. It's not for the faint of heart.
Not at all.
Real shit.
And you got to put your,
at
like, Ice Cube said it, like, a lot of cats don't want to put their 5 years in. They don't put that 10 years in. I'm 33 and I started doing all this stuff at 21, like in the adult scene. But to your guys' point, it started when I was in the church, when my dad had me as the deacon, the Sunday school, the armor bearer, the tear down and set up. Like, I knew the bass sound because we had to set up the sound system for my dad, you know. And then going into high school and, you know, working ASB and being a leader of special events. So I put on all these different events and stuff like that. But it's not, you got to trust yourself. You got to be consistent with yourself. It's not sexy. The little that you see that everybody sees is like 5% of what really goes into it.
That's real shit.
That's an iceberg.
Yeah, and because we had this conversation the other day, we talked about how everything that we're doing, you know, you work so hard, and honestly, like, I love entrepreneurship. Like, I love it, but I would not recommend it. Like, I wouldn't say you should go be an entrepreneur. If you come to me and say, hey, I want to be an entrepreneur, I'm going to say, okay, that's cool. Are you ready?
And keep your full time until you
Until,
can.
yeah,
Until
exactly.
you can.
I'm going to talk to him like the dude from Taken. Like, it requires a certain set of
Similar
skills.
skills.
Do you have those
It
skills?
really does.
That's real shit.
Because if you don't,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? You might want to rethink this.
And literally, the first skill is mindset. Like, that's like your mindset, because what we've been saying, the kind of the thing that's been going around is like, this shit is tiring. It gets hard. It gets like you doubt yourself. You're like, no matter, if you look at the billionaires, like, I mean, you look at every billionaire they've went through. I look at Fred Smith, who I used to work for, and what he went through when he first started FedEx Express, right? And then you look at the Bezos, you look at the Elons, you look at all these dudes. Everybody got to that point where bankruptcy was around the corner, or
Burnout.
Burnout was around
real.
the corner. Like, they was ready to jump off the building. Like, there is not one entrepreneur that don't feel like that.
Yeah, it's real talk.
You deal with all of that, and it's I feel like when, like I said, we over dramatize this stuff, and we got to talk about the ugly part of that comes into this space. And the second thing is, you got to get your mental health. Like, I think for me, when I had got out of my relationship, shout out to her, she was an amazing person, and she was a rock through a lot of what I went through. But when I was doing this on my own fully, like, it was a true test to my mental. Like, there was dark days, there was dark months. This year, last year, I was sitting in my room eating top ramen and Texas toast, trying to figure out how I'm going to make sure I pay everybody out by the end of the year and take care of this and knock this out, because I had lost a big contract that was funding everything, and I had lost that, and I had nothing to back up for it. And I'm sitting there with people with their hands out that I promised money, and I got to take care of everything. And, you know, I got aspirations and stuff, but it's not to shy anybody away from it, but I think the biggest thing is sacrifice. Like, you know, when you have it, or when people have it, if they want to work off convenience, they're not ready for it.
1,000%.
And you say sacrifice is like, sacrifice what? Time, money, love,
Everything.
life,
friendships, family, like,
family.
Everything.
I can't tell you I got 7 blood nieces and nephews, but then I have like a whole subsection of nieces and nephews for my friends, and how many birthday parties I've missed, how many just events, how many bachelor, all this stuff, like, and people are like, oh, you're always working. I'm like, I don't got PTO.
That's real talk.
Like,
Real
let me check in with my boss.
Yeah.
No,
No.
I ain't got no PTO.
It's not having it.
Not at all. Not at all.
So what are you excited about in your industry? Like, what's popping? What's trendy? What's new? What are you like? What's got the bones kind of jumping right now? What got you itching?
I would say, I think the big thing right now for me is one, seeing the shift in San Diego, and that we're actually starting to, like, there's things to do on the weekend. There's a lot to do. These last couple months, I'm like, oh damn, like, I can go here, I can do this, I can do that, and it's all Black and brown led events. I think the new and sexy thing right now is, I mean, there's not, I don't say anything's new and sexy. I just think San Diego is finally catching up. Like, we're slowly starting to catch up to the train. And then I'm really excited about Mixed Company, this other thing that I'm doing with a team of mine, Sasha, Enzo, and Skylar, and it's bringing that world music, bringing this collective community that looks like all of us. That's what we call it, a mixed company, because it's literally it's a diaspora of, like, we have a white Italian dude, you have me as a black man, you have a queer Hispanic woman, and then Skylar, don't kill me, but I know he's a mix of Italian, a few other things, so he's a mix. So it's like this diaspora, and then you see it kind of open up into other things, and then we just got residency at Palm Springs at Ace Hotel, so we're gonna be there every Friday, Saturday, pumping out all this world music to people. And for me, it's like, I think the big and sexy thing right now is that San Diego's finally catching on and things are starting to grow. We do need more black and brown events. We don't have enough.
Facts.
There's way too much damn EDM in this city.
Facts. It's like the West Coast of Miami. I've said this all the time. It's the West Coast of Miami.
It really is. It really is. My quote for today is, creativity is seeing what others see and thinking what no one else has ever thought. And that's Albert Einstein. And imagine, like, thinking what other people don't think is what makes people want to see things that you bring, right? So that's why it's important to have that space, like you said, that downtime to be able to kind of pull back and allow those creative like juices to flow, because you are able to, like, literally show people different things.
That's real shit. That's Albert Einstein always do some cool shit. I love when you quote him. Yeah, but like, so what we do is we always end with a final thought, and we want to give you the opportunity to think about a final thought before we close out. But before we do that, please tell the people, where can they follow you at? You know, if they want to listen to Soul Sunday online, if they're not here in San Diego and they can't visit, can they see it? If you're in San Diego, when is Soul Sunday? How do you follow Soul Sunday? How do you follow mixed company? Like, everything that Blizzy Blake got going on. Please drop all the handles, the websites, everything.
So if you don't want to follow all the handles at once, you can follow me, which has all the handles under there. But you can follow us at Soul Sunday as is, or at Mixed Company XD. Like I said, Mixed Company, we're going to be kicking off in October for Palm Springs at Ace Hotel. So be there every Friday and Saturday, starting in October until December. We're calling it the second summer. Soul Sunday, we usually do the third or fourth Sunday of the month. Our next one is October 22nd. We're doing a costume party. So you guys come ready with your costumes.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And then we have November 19th, which is going to be our following one. That's going to be our anniversary show. Has something really, really special for them. I'm really excited. And then we're going to be doing a Christmas show. So get ready. I don't know the date of that, but at Soul Sunday, at Miss Company XD, me, as you guys said earlier, Blizzy Blake 10. But yeah, you can all follow me there. And yeah, feel free, if you guys follow me, shoot me a message. We'll love to. I'm a big person of connecting, so I like to put faces to names.
Love it.
Super dope.
I love it. Well, my final thought is, you use a glass mirror to see your face, right? And you use works of art to see your soul. And that's George Berman Shaw. And to that I say, I love and respect so much when artists, like, reveal their souls. And you can feel it. I'll never forget, I was at Kaboo. And I never heard of, it was Weezer, I believe is the name of the group, and they sung Unsteady, and the singer got up there and he just like went in. I mean, I was mesmerized. You know, it was like, hold on to me, I'm a little unsteady, and I like love that song, you know. And like I'm not a music person, but I ended up getting to go to this event, and then but the revealing of his soul was just, you could just feel everything. Like I felt like I was there when he was writing the song. You know what I mean? Like I was like, damn. Like,
I thought you was gonna drop it. I thought you was gonna say it.
Nah,
Hold on to me.
Yeah. I'm a little unsteady. Don't let me start. Let me start.
I thought you was gonna do it.
No, but I mean, like I mean, that was like one of the first time, other than like Prince and Michael Jackson, like people like that. To me, like I feel that's like their soul and Pink. Like I don't know. If I hear them perform live, like I'm moved to tears. Literally moved to tears because I feel every like piece of their soul that they put into that art. It's amazing. It's the same as if I seen like a great piece of artwork. You know what I mean? And it's just like wow. But yeah. That's my final thought.
That was a passionate final thought. I know that. That was very passionate.
Thank you, baby.
Yeah, I just respect the, I started the show saying that I wasn't a creative, and in reality, we're all creatives. Mm-hmm. And whatever idea you have, and you bring that from idea to a manifestation, and it's a manifestation because you actually see it in its fruition. Mm-hmm. Like, to me, that is beautiful. And Maya Angelou said, you can never use up creativity. Mm-hmm. And the more that you use, the more that you have. So, I say to all the creatives out there, or to the people that don't think they're creatives, you are creative. Any idea, anytime you sit alone and you come up with something, and then it's an idea, and then you put that idea into motion, and then you actually see it into fruition, like that's a fucking 1,000% your manifestation. So keep rocking, keep doing that shit.
Okay, all right. I love that, baby. Well, great way of turning it around and bringing it back. And yeah, you're creative as fuck because you're always bringing different business ideas to me. Like, babe, let's do this. Like, oh, here we go. So I love them though. Don't keep them coming. You know?
Well, shit. You kind of impressed me when the last episode we had where we talked about if you had $1,000, what would you do? And you almost made me cry. Shit, I like talking about Pixar. I was like, I put $1,000 into you, baby. I was like, damn. No
go
pressure.
Get the money,
yeah,
baby. Go get the money.
Go get the money. Y'all cute. Y'all cute.
Thank you. I'm still mad at him. I'm not lying.
Hey, that's fine.
I'm not lying.
Hey, that's fair.
Oh man.
So you go ahead and get that $1,000 for her.
Yeah.
I gotta flip that 1,000 to 100 million. Blake, my man, what's your final thought?
Yes.
I would say just in this life that we are of social media and a lot of smoke and mirrors, just really, really be true to yourself. I think we focus a lot trying to be true to others, and we lose who we are in trying to do that. And I think for me in this, especially these last 2 years, I realized I had to really be true to myself because we are the biggest liars to ourselves. So if you're willing to, if you want to step into the creative space or just in any space, tap in with yourself and continue to hold yourself accountable and take those quiet moments to explore your thoughts and who you are, and just be consistent with self. Because if you don't have consistency with yourself, you're not going to be able to achieve really anything, because it's going to be a lot of half-assed things. And that was me in my first half of my life. There's a lot of stuff I just plateaued at. And I've done so much in 2 years, just really tapping into who I am and understanding, how I move, how I operate. We had that call that day, a day of Soul Sunday, and I needed that. And I think to me, be fresh coming off New York, and then you from New York, so it's just like it was the energy, but it was a check of self. So just be true to you, do you, own your stuff. My dad always says, hey, I ain't got to lay in that bed, you got to lay in it. So if you're willing to lay in that bed, make sure you're willing to deal with those repercussions of whatever you create in that space. So own it, be you, be true, and be blessed.
I couldn't agree with you more.
I love it.
I appreciate that, Blake. Thank you for joining us in the studio.
Thank you.
This is Lyfe and Shyt.
Lyfe and Shyt.
Love
you.
Love you. Do us a favor. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe. Leave a review. Let us know what your thoughts are. That's the only way that this show is going to be successful. And we appreciate you. Talk with you next time.